It was just past midnight in the city. Rain tapped gently against the windows of Dylan Wang's apartment, the kind of rain that softened the world and made secrets easier to speak. Dylan stood in the kitchen, clutching a warm cup of tea in one hand while his other hovered over his phone. Her name was there. Shen Yue. It blinked softly, like a memory that refused to fade. He hadn't called her in a long time. Not like this. Not in the middle of the night when Bai Lu was asleep just a few feet away. But something inside him cracked. He tapped the call button. Shen Yue answered quickly. Her voice came through, delicate and familiar. Dylan? He paused before answering, letting her voice settle into the silence. I don't know why I called, he said. I just needed to hear your voice. She didn't respond immediately. The weight of what had been left unsaid between them hung in the space between the words. Are you okay? She finally asked. I don't know, he admitted, eyes fixed on the floor. In the next room, Bai Lu stirred. A whisper of a movement under the sheets. She had heard the ringtone. She recognized it. Dylan stepped out onto the balcony, phone still pressed to his ear. He thought he was alone now. But Bai Lu, barefoot and silent, moved slowly across the apartment toward the balcony door. It was slightly open. Outside, Dylan kept talking. I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see you, he said. Not just as you are now. I see you the way you looked the last time we shot that scene when you smiled at me like you knew something I didn't. There was a pause. Then Shen Yue spoke again. Why are you saying this now? He leaned against the railing. Because I've been lying to myself. Pretending I moved on. I didn't. I never did. Inside the apartment, Bai Lu stopped. The words were knives. She stayed quiet, listening, frozen. Shen Yue's voice came through again, quieter this time. Do you still love me? A long silence followed. I don't know how not to, Dylan finally said. The sound of shattering glass split the night. Dylan turned sharply. Bai Lu stood just inside the balcony door. A broken teacup lay at her feet. Her face was pale, her eyes wide. You really said that, she whispered. You said that. While I was here. In this house. With you. Bai Lu, he started, taking a step forward. Don't, she said, voice cracking. Don't say anything. I don't want to hear another word. She walked away slowly. Her hands trembled. She didn't cry in front of him. Not yet. Back on the phone, Shen Yue had gone silent. She had heard the crash. Heard Bai Lu's voice. She hung up without another word. Dylan sat alone for hours. The night stretched on, quiet and unforgiving. His phone lit up with messages. His manager. The studio. Even a few fans. But not Shen Yue. And not Bai Lu. The headlines the next morning were brutal. Whispers turned into rumors. A fan had captured a blurry video of Dylan talking on the balcony, voice raised. Someone had seen Bai Lu storming out. The tabloids filled in the rest. Speculation exploded. People wanted answers. But Dylan gave none. 2 days later, Dylan showed up at Shen Yue's apartment. He didn't knock. He just slid a letter under the door. Then he walked away. Later that night, Shen Yue opened it. She read it. Her hands shook. She said nothing. Somehow, a copy of the letter made its way to Bai Lu. She read it in a quiet park, hidden beneath a hoodie and sunglasses. She said nothing either. Only whispered, "Too late, Dylan." Dylan sat alone in the same cafe where he first met Shen Yue years ago. Then later, where he had taken Bai Lu on a rainy Sunday when she still laughed easily around him. He looked out the window. The rain returned, just like that night. He closed his eyes. The memories played in his head like a film reel stuck on repeat. Shen Yue smiling at him under stage lights. Bai Lu resting her head on his shoulder. All of it. Gone. He had made one phone call. And lost everything. Not just one woman. But both. The rain kept falling. And Dylan sat in silence, knowing this wasn't the end of the story. But it might have been the end of them. The room was quiet. Far too quiet. Bai Lu had meant to eavesdrop. She wasn't even trying to invade his space. But something about Dylan's behavior had felt off. The tension in his voice, The way he glanced at his phone screen a little too long, and how he slipped out onto the balcony that night without saying a word. Her instincts kicked in. She followed, silently, barefoot, with only the sliding glass door between her and the truth. Dylan's voice, low and fragile, drifted through the door. "I don't know what I'm doing anymore, Yue," he said. "Sometimes I think I made the wrong choice." Bai Lu's heart stopped. For a moment, she thought she had misheard. Maybe it was about work. A casting regret. A missed opportunity. But then Shen Yue's voice replied, soft, calm, and heartbreakingly warm. "You didn't make the wrong choice. You just lost yourself a little. You always do when you're scared." A silence hung between their voices. Heavy. Too familiar. Too intimate. Then Dylan spoke again. "I thought being with Bai would fix everything. But lately, it just feels like I'm performing. Like I'm in a scene I didn't audition for." Bai Lu's knees buckled. She gripped the frame of the door to steady herself, blinking rapidly, trying not to cry, not yet. Not until she heard everything. Shen Yue sighed on the other end. "That's not fair to her, Dylan. You can't keep pretending." "I'm not pretending," he snapped, then lowered his voice. "I care about her. I really do. But the person I open up to when it's 2 a.m. and I can't breathe, it's still you." Bai Lu covered her mouth, a gasp caught between heartbreak and disbelief. Dylan didn't know she was just feet away, shattering. Shen Yue's tone shifted, uncertain. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying," Dylan hesitated. "I don't know if I ever really let her in. Not the way I let you in. And if I could go back, I think I would have fought harder for us." The pain that swept across Bai Lu's face wasn't silent anymore. The glass door slid open, and Dylan froze, phone still pressed to his ear. Their eyes met. Everything stopped. For the first time, Dylan's voice failed him. "How long have you been there?" he asked, barely above a whisper. Bai Lu's voice trembled, but her words were clear. "Long enough to realize I was just a placeholder." Shen Yue's voice called out from the phone, unaware. "Dylan." He slowly brought the phone down, ending the call without a word. Bai Lu didn't yell. She didn't cry. She just stood there, broken in a silence heavier than any scream. "I gave everything," she said. "And all this time, I was never really in the scene." He reached for her, but she stepped back. "Don't," she warned. "If you touch me now, I'll fall apart." The weight of what he'd done, of everything unsaid, of the comfort he sought in someone else, was unbearable. He had tried to hold two hearts at once. And now both were slipping from his hands. That night, Bai Lu didn't sleep. She sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the moon. Not because it gave her comfort, but because it didn't lie. It didn't change. Unlike him.